Hello, you're welcome. You're welcome onto my channel today, and it gives me great joy to observe you are viewing this video. I am Dr. Olayinka Akanle. I am a lecturer in the university. I am a sociologist. I'm a researcher. On this channel, I do a number of stuff, but all these stuffs I do, you can easily cluster them into four: sociology, research, migration, and relationship. Meanwhile, have you subscribed onto this channel? If you have not, what are you waiting for? Kindly go ahead and tap the subscribe button on your screen. Click the subscribe button on your screen and subscribe to this channel for great content. If you have subscribed previously, thank you very much for staying tuned. Today, this content is within the confine of sociology. The title of this video is Social Exchange Theory. Social exchange theory is a micro theory, that is, the theory tries to explain small-scale interpersonal relationship within closely knitted groups. So, it's within micro sociological theory. I have a video on this channel on micro and macro sociology. This theory, social exchange theory, is also within the framework of utilitarian perspective. That is, people seek opportunities for utilities to be able to fulfill some personal or group objectives. So it's within the framework of utilitarian perspective, it's within the framework of micro theories, and it's within the framework of interactionist perspective, the theories that we call interactionist, because they pay attention to small scale interpersonal interactions, interpersonal relationship or interactions among people, small-scale interactions among people within groups, small groups. So this is what we call them: utilitarian, micro, and interactionist perspective. Social exchange theory is a very nice theory, especially if you are interested in reciprocity, or how groups work and how groups are serviced to be able to proceed and progress towards sustainable societies, towards towards social order in society. There are three fundamental names usually associated with social exchange theory. These names are, you cannot read social exchange theory without getting to see these names. So these names are very important when you look at social exchange theory. We talk about Peter Blau. Peter Blau is, the early fundamental strands, variants of the theories. You'll find Peter Blau usually mentioned. You will also find George Ullmans. George Ullmans is another name that is commonly associated with social exchange theory. You will also find Richard Emerson. Emerson is another name that you will find closely associated. So these three people, took the lead in shaping this theory fundamentally. And you cannot understand this theory without talking about these three nice theorists who try to theorize about how societies function, how groups relate. Don't forget, theories, like I always say, are explanatory frameworks. They help us to explain social realities or phenomenon in societies. Meanwhile, view my video on how best to understand theory. It will help you a lot. It's one of my early videos on this channel. So I'm viewing this video to the end. By the time you are done viewing this video, you will have fundamental, exceeding understanding of social exchange theory. So one thing I want you to know is that this social exchange theory is very relevant, especially if you want to understand the functioning of society in an attempt to understand power, reciprocity, interdependence, fairness in society. You want to understand social cohesion in society. You want to understand social networks, how networks function, how groups function, how reciprocity works, how the political, how fairness operate, how power and interdependence, how they operate in society. You want to understand this interdependence. You want to understand how do people behave certainly to keep society going. And this is very important for you to be able to understand this theory, and it's very important. And again, you want to understand solidarity, you want to understand social cohesion, Why society? Why are societies, bonding? Why is cohesion in society? How do you have solidarity that people just adhere to certain principles and values and they solidarize, among each other? And now, let me break this theory down. When you begin to hear issues like one good turns to serve another, when you begin to hear do unto others how you want them to do or unto you, when you begin to hear reciprocity is life, when you begin to hear nothing goes for nothing, these are these are colloquial, these are common sayings that actually have strong social exchange normativities under them. When you people talk in that manner, when people say that there is no free lunch anywhere, not even in free time, that means they believe if you want something done for you, you must also do something in return. That is, if you want something, you must do something. Nothing goes for nothing. These are things, these are common sense that when you begin to talk about something like this, you're already talking about social exchange theory. That's a way of breaking the theory down for people to know. So, and it's very important. Within social exchange theory, we also believe that reciprocity is life. Reciprocal actions. Action will galvanize interaction. So reciprocity is life. Do unto me, I do unto you. That's what services human relationship, and it's very important. And we pay close attention to the capacity of networks in understanding society. Meanwhile, there's a video on this channel on actor network theory. There's a video on this channel on rational choice theory. There are many videos on this channel: social action, ethnomethodology, phenomenology, symbolic interactionism. These are theories that I've treated on this channel. Try to look at that. So within the confine of social exchange theory, it is believed that reciprocity is life. Reciprocal action is very important. And we believe that your network will determine your net worth. Your network will determine your net worth. Because we believe that social networks are resources that will give you ultimate resources, financial and non-financial, in the long run. And these are things that keep society going, basically speaking. So relationships, that's why also within the confine of social exchange theory, we also believe it's useful in understanding the importance of social capital. Social capital, talks about relationships that people can optimize as resources. Social capital means relationship among people that are useful. Just like economic capital is useful, social capital believe that relationship is a metaphorical statement that says relationships are very important and very relevant in terms of being useful, being optimizable to be able to use as resources. So relationships are very vital. And this is why in social exchange theory, we believe that as people relate, they also activate their relationship as capital that they can dispense, they can appropriate anytime there is a need to use the network. So the concept of social capital is very relevant, it's very central also to social exchange theory. And the concept of social capital and belief in social capital and utilization of social capital also keeps society going, fundamentally speaking. So, and social exchange theory is very close to research on social capital, like I've mentioned, very close to research on social network, very close to research on norms and values in understanding how people behave in terms of trust. Trust is also very important. That is, to trust the network. That's why you are in it, and you try as much as possible to be able to leverage the trust in the network, build the trust, and continue to use the trust in the short run and in the long run. And this is very important. Okay, so now what are the main arguments? I've given you the general overview of social exchange theory, which is very important for your understanding. So there are main arguments, main assumptions of social exchange theory. A very major assumption is that social networks, social relations is about reciprocity. It's about network servicing. People service network through their relationships, through what they contribute into it and what they take out of it. So that is very important. Also, we believe that people do cost-benefit analysis in social exchange theory. When you are in any relationship, you look at what am I going to benefit from this relationship, from this network, and when you do cost benefit analysis, what am I supposed to invest in it, and what is going to be the benefit for me? So we believe that cost benefit analysis also determine the existence and the functionality of that relationship. And we also believe in what we call reward driven behavior. People behave in certain way in relationships because they want to reap ultimate reward in the short and the long run. So reward driven behavior, which is very important. People don't just behave randomly, they behave so that they can reap reward. And people in networks normally will not take others for granted, because that will endanger the relationship, the network, the relationship. Because if it's social exchange, by the time people begin to take others for granted, it will jeopardize the network, the relationship in the first instance. We believe in mutually beneficial relationship within network, within social exchange theory. And people will believe that people invest on social relations based on calculated benefit. People will invest in the social network, in the social relations, to the extent that they are calculating that benefit will be accruable to them in the long run. Nobody invests for nothing in social relations. So as people relate, as they are dealing within a society, it's based on calculated benefits that they want to get in the long run in their relationship. And then we also believe that there is rationality based on intention to reap maximum reward. So there's a situation of rational action. You can also see social action in this place. You can also see rational choice theory in this place. You can also see actor network theory. You see, these theories are always in conversation. There's something there's something general to all of them, and something unique about all of them. So you see, this theory is also assuming rational action, rational actors seeking maximum reward based on whatever they do. And there's also an issue of most gratification comes from others, assuming that people believe that the only way they can receive most gratification, most benefit, is by relating with others. That's why generally in sociology, we believe that human beings are gregarious animals. People believe that they function well, they function effectively when they're in relationship with others. All manners of relationship, emotional and economic, and any other relationship we want to talk about, is a marriage, is even religious relationship. We believe that people seek gratification from others. And we believe that people that suffer depression the most is people who don't believe in social exchange, who don't deal with others. People who relate with others and believe that the best reward will come when they deal with others, they have better life chances and they have better life outcomes in the long run. I hope you understand this theory. I'm trying to break it down in a way that you can understand it. So rationality, people behave rationally for maximum reward, and they believe that when they relate with others in a social exchange situation, they will have more gratification. And another assumption of this theory is that it's believed that people have information about institutions and opportunities. That these pieces of information will determine how people program and calculate and relate within the social system that they find themselves, or within the society they find themselves. So it is believed that everyone have access to necessary information about opportunities, economic opportunities, social opportunities, psychological opportunities, emotional opportunities, educational opportunities, religious opportunity, political opportunity. Across the social system, we believe social essentially assumes that people have information, extraordinary information, for them to be able to make informed, rational decisions that will make them to function within that society. It's also believed that this information they have will be processed in a way that will give them goal orientation, that is, to be able to achieve a goal. Nobody relates for nothing. Like I said, nothing goes for nothing. So when people have this information, they are oriented towards achieving certain goals. And in achieving these goals, they process the information in the short and the long run towards achieving their goals. Another assumption is that it's believed that people prefer social credit to social indebtedness. People want to invest in a network so that they are seen to bring value into that relationship. We assume that those people don't want to be liabilities in the relationship. Otherwise, that relationship will will be very toxic, that they can endanger the social system. So the assumption is that people actually have credit orientation, that they prefer social credit, in the sense that the group feel indebted to them rather than them being indebted to the group. So they will act in a rational way to protect themselves, to continue to be relevant and protect the society. And people believe in part of when you have deprivation, value deprivation. When people are deprived of value, it propels them, it motivates them to continue to strive for that value. In the long run, continue to strive to protect the integrity, the existence of that group, so that they can also achieve the valuable. And so generally, social exchange theory believe that people are rational, calculative, and they act to avoid destroying valuable relationship. Is it not interesting? With the assumption is that when people value a particular relationship, they act in certain ways to make sure that they don't destroy that relationship, whether in marriage, in offices, or even in religious centers. Any relationship that people value will believe that people, because they are rational and calculative, will protect that relationship and will not destroy that relationship. Interesting. This will help us understand why some people are so much attached to certain values as society. And then last assumption I will mention is that people avoid punishment in relationship. That means they will conform. That means conformity will be high in any society where people avoid relationship, avoid punishment, because they value the relationship. They don't want sanction. They want reward in the short and the long run. There's a reward that people want in relationship. These are the assumptions of this theory. By the time you go through all these assumptions, I've mentioned about 17 or more of them. So if you look at this, by the time you understand these assumptions, in the final analysis, you'll be able to understand this theory effectively. So if you take these assumptions, the way I listed the main argument, and you marry this main assumption, main argument, marry them with my earlier intro on some basic analytical frameworks of social exchange theory, definitely you'll be able to understand this theory more. So let me quickly talk about criticism of this theory. Generally, there are criticisms of this theory. A fundamental criticism is that people are believed not to always be rational. When you say people are always rational, and the assumption people are always rational, people are always calculating. Some people are not rational. They just behave irrational, and you begin to wonder, why is this person behaving in this way? So the assumption that people are always rational may not be correct based on criticism. Because some people also act in non-rational way, and in a way because of maybe some emotional attachment to tradition, to value, some sentiments that may make them want to act rationally. So assuming a rational and always calculative being in social relationship is fraught as criticism. Then because people have other reasons to act, which may be emotional, tradition, and value. And it's not correct. Critics believe that it's not correct to say that people always have information before they act. So many people don't have information. They just behave like a pilot flying blind. So information is not widely dispersed in any society. And this theory is believed to underestimate social structure that may make people to act in certain ways. The norms, the values, the social institutions that make them to act in certain ways that will not be rational at all. Another criticism is that critics believe that this theory is too predictive, predicting how people will behave. And human beings are not so predictable. They're not so predictable because they are human beings. This is a major problem in sociology, because we study humans who, because we are studying them, decide to confuse you. So people, it's too predictive, it's too micro. Believe that this theory cannot explain large-scale relationship. And another important one is that this theory, all considered, is very deterministic, believing that this element will determine how people will behave. That exchange is the only reason people relate, which fundamentally is believed not to be true. But in terms of strength, this theory is very strong in explaining competitive society, capitalist society, where people make decisions for maximum gain. Another thing is that it's a micro theory that is very relevant in explaining small scale relationship in a way, and then it's very adaptable and very dynamic to different scenarios, different contexts, and is good in explaining human interactions across time, across spaces. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Kindly subscribe to this channel and share this video as widely as possible. That's social exchange theory for you. Try to apply it. But if you are answering these questions on this theory, give as many examples as possible to drag the theory down to the level we know that fully you understand it. Giving examples, is the best way for you to understand the theory and to use the theory. That's what we mean by applying a theory. So make sure you give example when you are explaining all their basic assumptions and the criticisms and the strengths. Till I see you in my next video, subscribe to the channel and share widely. Bye for now.